just a quick one really about some of this Ukraine-Russian stuff. So I went to Ukraine a long time ago, and I mean some of the catalyst for where we are now is basically when Ukrainian rebels attacked sort of the Donbass and the Crimea area and ethnically tried to cleanse Russians out of the area, and then like 10,000 or more went across the border over to Russia and said, look, you know, these people have bloody kicked us out of the houses, set fire to them, killed some people, you know, and there wasn't really much getting done about it. And so things started to escalate. The Russians in, I think, Crimea, they got a base there. They got a military base anyway, and they were literally like hiring or however it works around the base and these outposts. But what happened is when it started to descend into some chaos, they said, right, well, we'll just take over it. And that's what kind of happened, which is fine. But then on this roadmap, I guess, of unifying Russia, taking back Ukraine was a part of that. What's happened is diplomacy's broken down. These rebels are probably being funded and supported by Western influences because there was a military base in the area. So if they can push the Russians back, create tensions, then they can increase bases into Ukraine. But I can't see really the point, because Ukraine's not exactly like a rich economy. It's got rich soil. But you know, what's the massive tactical advantage of doing that? And why would you be threatened by a base from a different country down the road or something? I mean, sure, it could launch nuclear missiles, but then you just have anti-nuclear missile technology, and you're kind of like, well, it's not going to get anywhere, because as soon as you fire one up in the air, it gets shot down. It never delivers its payload. So maybe there was an over fear to the threat, but it's because Vladimir Putin has a kind of old school view of the world. And so you just don't do that sort of thing. It's like, well, that's an act of war. There's not sort of any grey area there. So by this talk, I'm not taking any sides, obviously. And then this response has been building for a while, and then they've got this catalyst where there's been fighting across around that region for a long time. And when I was out there, they were shelling. It was like I could hear these bangs in the distance, and there was some stuff firing across either side, I guess. But you know, there's grounds for why things have gone the way they've gone. I mean, personally, you'd expect he would have thought, well, I'm going to wipe out these rebels, and then to ask the Ukraine, can you deal with these rebels? And if they didn't deal with them, then you would expect maybe an invasion to sort of capture the region, sort the rebels out, and then maybe you leave the region, possibly, and just have them as prisoners and find out why are they doing it, where the, you know, they're saying they're national Ukrainian, but the thing is, people have well, it's kind of mixed race. It's like trying to extract Scotland from England or something. There's going to be people that are Scottish in England. There's going to be people that are English in Scotland. You know, it's just like pretty daft. But some of these guys not really bloody smart, to be honest. Give them a gun and give them a bottle of vodka and off they go. So that's all a shame. And then, but the thing is now, this response is disproportionate, because let's take the whole region. That's basically turn it to dust, and it's going to be the catalyst for World War III potentially. I can't say we are, because all the indicators are there. I mean, the best thing probably would be to more likely, if it went differently, if Russia said, look, we could be a part of the NATO, because NATO obviously expands because they see these threats and things, don't they? We could be a part of that, and we've got a lot we could bring to the table, and that would create a much wider peace. And it's kind of like the complete opposite thinking to Putin. But however, and if another leader steps in, when or if Putin steps down and is removed, they're likely going to have different views of Europe. I mean, you can still be the country, Mother Russia and all sorts, but you want to get the best deal, obviously. And I think if you're a strategic partner within something like that, then it solves the problem. You're more influential inside a system than you are from the outside of the system. Or with the outside the system, you've got to probably demolish it completely. And so it's not going to get that great. I'm surprised that nukes weren't possibly put on the table at first, not last. I think it's only threatened saying I've got a big gun. They haven't got a gun that works at all. I mean, if they went to carve up ground and stuff, they could have easily taken a massive chunk once. Not that I'm suggesting that would be a necessarily good thing. Just like if you're a warmonger, rather than send your troops in a bit at a time to get shot at, you could basically cause almost a massive defeat straight away, and the other countries, because of democracy, will be stuck in their tracks and have to figure out what to do next, because it's not written down in the acts or anything. Like, what do we do? It's a situation here. Will it stop that with Ukraine? Unlikely. I mean, the thing is, we live in a world where the reality is he's got centralised thinking. It's not working in a decentralised world. Corporations rule government, influence government. I mean, with Putin, he's got all these oligarchs that are actually pulled strings and so on. They might not be able to influence him or directly government, but they are important key components of it. Otherwise they wouldn't have brought them to a bloody meeting and talked about what's going on. And they are decentralised because they have assets all over the world, they have homes all over the world. They're not stuck in one region. They're not saying all the money has to be in one bank, they have to be in one region, they have to do that. They're not controlling these systems. So it'd be better to expand it to a decentralised version of Russia than to have that, because Russia would be in here. You are Russian. You are the ambassador to your country if you take it around the world, and you could bring the best of it there. And like I say, the integration between NATO. However, NATO might not want to integrate with Russia. They might actually like the idea of keeping them the bad guy, and if they are, then they're very biased in their views, because they say, well, if we do that, well, we can't increase our arms budget and stuff. We can't ask for more help if we just started making world peace. I mean, why would we want to do that? And that's the problem with corrupt corporations in it. So I can see there's a kind of big grey area. Where this is going to go, I don't know, and it could be very sad. Hopefully, well, the thing is not the peace talks are not on the table, and basically, really the peace talks just look, Donbass and things in our regions now. We do not want any interference. We do not want people firing shit into our country. Any act of war is an act of war, and intolerance. And then basically, what would you do to deal with that? Well, if the next region has got soldiers shooting at us and we're not shooting at them, we're just going to take over it. So you'll lose another region. I can understand that from the might, and they say, well, you can't do that. I said, they just don't bloody shoot at us. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's probably a way forward, but I do. See, I could see all this different stuff, and over history's built it up to a point. Are we trying to? Maybe he's been set up. The Russians have been set up. They've said they want to have this broken down country, and they want another World War free situation. And he's just jumping into it. He doesn't realise how it's just constantly pressing his buttons, and maybe his career's coming to an end. So it's like a midlife crisis. Like, what do I do? Either I'm going to do it, or I'm not going to do it. So fuck it, I'll do it. And so probably the best bet for them is if he stood down from power. A different, but then again, you had somebody that was basically legitimately they would have won the presidency for Russia, and they got him assassinated. And there's some strange things that go on. I mean, you might not believe in democracy, but you don't go around killing everyone because you've got different views. And then there's sort of stuff with the gas attack, poison nerve agents in the UK. There's been fighters that have gone over into our airspace. So there's. I mean, they might be upset with the UN, but they're certainly acting in a way that would suggest that we are an enemy or a target or a threat or something, because they're coming to us to fly around. No. bloody vehicles around here. Yeah, I noticed that. You're gonna want to come out of here somehow. You know, if you know what a vehicle's doing, it's not a problem. But if they don't actually tell you, then you're fucked. Let's come right over here, though, for his sake. Right, hello, this is Pixie. And this is the end of the video. Have a great one and speak soon, bye.